Right, thank you. Hello, Debbie. Nice seeing you. And I look forward to seeing everybody in San Francisco. So on October 1, 2017, at 10:05 p.m., country western music singer Jason Aldean was singing his sixth and final song to a capacity crowd of over 20,000 people, closing out the three-day Route 91 Harvest Music Festival. The festival was staged at the Las Vegas Village, a 15-acre lot on Las Vegas Boulevard owned by MGM, directly across the street from the Luxor and diagonally across from the Mandalay Bay. The concert promoter was Live Nation. You all know the story. You've seen the video footage. As Jason Aldean was singing, Stephen Paddock, having used a hammer to break windows in the two suites of the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay, opened fire on the crowd of concert goers, firing more than 1,000 bullets. The rampage lasted 12 minutes. 60 people were killed, over 450 shot, and a total of 867 were injured. Countless others were emotionally devastated. And a nation was rocked by yet again another senseless mass shooting in a public place. And of course, Paddock was found dead in his hotel room from a self-inflicted gunshot about an hour later. This was and still is the deadliest shooting committed by an individual in United States history. Paddock arrived at Mandalay Bay on September 25, booked his room, 4 days later booked the room next door, and with the help of hotel bellmen, over a 5-day period, brought up 20 suitcases to his room containing 24 firearms, 14 AR-15 semi-automatic rifles, and 8 AR-10 rifles. The suitcase also included tons of ammunition. His do not disturb sign was on throughout the day. Who would take a case like this seriously? But the better question to ask is who could possibly prevail on such a case? The answer to that question includes a very, very short list of lawyers, the group for which I am proud to be friends of and proud to present today. And I couldn't be more pleased than to present Mark Robinson, Dan Robinson, Wes Polischuk, Mike Olson, Kevin Boyle, Matt Stumpf, and Matt Freeman for this very, very honorable award. This was an extremely complicated and difficult case, a first of its kind case that caught the world's attention. This case changed history. It changed security. It changed the way security takes place at large events and within the hotel industry. And in this case, we are talking about legends. We're talking about Mark Robinson. When I think of CAOC, I think of Mark Robinson. We're talking about Kevin Boyle, somebody that has been involved in the biggest cases nationally for years and years. He's had 6 times he's been nominated. We are talking about legends doing a legendary job. Fortunately, I had a front row seat to this litigation, as I too represented many victims who benefited by the extraordinary work of these lawyers. One of the criteria for this award that caught my attention is whether or not the attorneys faced and overcame unusual obstacles, great risk, or incredible odds. Are you kidding me? That should be end of discussion on this evaluation. The obstacles in this case were off the charts. The odds were not even slim to none. They were none for these lawyers to prevail. Think about it. The shooter's liability, of course. Complete federal preemption against gun manufacturers. Couldn't sue them. Jurisdictional issues. Where do you file? Kevin and Mark found that Nevada had a unique statute that precludes a single defendant in a negligence case from pointing to other tortfeasors on the verdict form. So they had to call over 40 lawyers who had rushed out to file lawsuits telling them to dismiss their cases and file in Nevada. The case was a logistical nightmare. 4,000 injured victims with over 60 law firms and many prominent attorneys across the country. Big egos and big ideas for sure. In December of 17, Mark and Kevin were selected with the Eaglet firm by this group of 60 law firms to lead the litigation against MGM. It's a vote I cast. It's a vote I proudly cast. Many meetings were held in Las Vegas with all these lawyers, coordinated filings, discovery, filing database. The efficiency was unmatched. In February of 2018, they filed the first of its kind lawsuit against MGM in state court for a mass shooting, first of its kind. MGM removed the case to federal court and asserted a first of its kind ever defense, the Support Anti-Terrorism by Fostering Effective Technologies Act. What the heck is that? It's the Safety Act. It was enacted after 9/11 and designed to encourage companies to become certified anti-terrorism providers. And if they would hire security companies that were so certified, it gives them 100% immunity for any liability. Folks, this is a game over type ruling if that were to occur. And then MGM had the gall to file lawsuits against the victims. They filed 1,977 lawsuits in 11 different federal courts in 11 states in federal court, hoping to rush to get one federal judge to rule in their favor that they are immune from liability. They filed a motion before the judicial panel on multi-district litigation, asking these things to be coordinated, had to be fought, and it was denied. And then the most remarkable thing that was done is that the team took MGM's gall and turned it right back in their face. And they did a bunch of press conferences, and they had news media coverage with all of the large networks, 12 networks in all, picking up the coverage with the victims and Mark Robinson explaining how appalling this conduct is, that they're suing people that were injured or killed at their event. To say that this was a difficult task is an understatement that I could never even address. The reality is they spent 30 full days of mediation in Las Vegas and California, 30 layers of insurance with 90 insurance representatives. Think about that. How hard is it for us to convince even the first layer on a good liability case, let alone an excess layer to pay? Yet this team was able to settle the case on behalf of 4,000 clients for 80 million or 800 million, representing the full $750 million in coverage with MGM and MGM paying the rest. Now, I don't have enough time to talk about Mark and Kevin, but it's worth it. Mark Robinson's a past president of the organization. He's been nominated numerous times. This award means a lot to all of us on this call, and everybody that is involved cares about the organization. Mark Robinson's name needs to be a part of this winning team. He needs to be on this award for it to mean something. This was a case that stands out in comparisons to the other cases because there's no other case like it. No one's filed a case and got liability against an entity for a mass shooting. And it's made the society safer. You can't go in a hotel without walking through hidden security metal detectors. You can't walk up an elevator without the security guard there. And the reality is, folks, this case deserves to win. These are wonderful lawyers that have done wonderful things. Mark is there for us at all times. Kevin's there for us at all times. They contribute financially. They're on the PAC board, and they
time is up.
Have been with us. And I would highly recommend and hope you'll vote for this group of fine lawyers for this great case.